me switch the camera on. Okay, turn on the torch, light the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. Sorry about the wind. I turned my head just right, and there's a fan behind me that's cooling off the place. Let me go ahead, and I'm going to switch over to the laptop computer camera. And in the VEC screen, go ahead and wave. See there? That's good old Brian. You've seen him a couple of times on one or two of my videos. He's my son visiting me from Michigan, and we're out here in the shed. I'm playing a little bit, and he's got some cord that he's melting to make for necklace pieces that I've gotten to it. I've sort of saved to the side for him and never gotten to him. I'm such a lazy cuss about sending things sometimes. But hello, Tobias. Nice to see you. Um, enjoy the melting. Yeah, I enjoy melting glass too. We're going to do a couple of marbles, as you can see in the thing. I'm going to do some smaller marbles. I have a nice marble mold here. Let me. You can see it here. It's got at least 5 molds there, and it is a very nice one that I got a long time ago. I couldn't even tell you how much I paid for it, but it has a lot of scratches, dings, and but the best thing about it is it still makes some great looking marbles. Um, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the bench camera. And what I'm going to use first off is I have some fumed silver glass, and it's got some nice colors in it. Let me see if I can get it up there close enough that it can be seen. Um, and these, that's basically where I used a silver fuming rod and flattened it and coated it with clear. Let me see if I can get one. Here we go. Just to give you an idea. On the end of where I did the silver fumings, it was what I do is I'd flatten this once I've finished and used it and scrapped it enough that it's not going to get any more silver out of it. I'd flatten it, coat it with clear, and then stretch it out and swirl it, and I'd get things like this. Inside there, there's some nice colors, some greens and some yellows and light hues of blue. I'm going to try to make a couple of small marbles out of this just to see what can go down. By the way, I'm about 3 subscribers from being at 600. Yay! And I still have to tell you the truth. Some of the people that I for the last drawing at 500, I still haven't gotten their pieces to them. My own lazy cussness. I've got to get over that and start going and sending these things. That's. But even though I may have it, it's still yours. Believe me, I'm honest to that extent. I just might be lazy about sending it sometimes. Anyway, I have some moments. We all do. Now this I'm just going to make, and when I say a small marble, I'm talking small marble. If I do this right, I can make about 3 or 4 marbles out of this one uh, cane that I've got going here. And again, I have my eyes on in the chat room. So if somebody comes in and wants to say hi, please do so. I know I usually come in and I do a quick, very short notice when I show up and do these things, but at least I'm doing new ones every once in a while. But the marbles, I've always loved doing marbles in a lot of ways because you can do anything you want to them. In other words, add colors, swirls, patterns, even, whatever, as long as you make it round afterwards. That's the fun part. Okay, now at this point, it's going to be a smaller marble, but I'm going to add some more clear glass over it. I'm going to put that on a punte. Then I'm going to add some more colors to it around it. Like I can add, I have some jade green here. Let's do that. And I also have some Illuminati, so something that would just little dots of color to make it even more so. And again, with this marble mold that I have, Right now it's fitting quite snugly in the very smallest hole mold of a marble I have. I want to say it's close to 3/8 or or in that range. I couldn't tell you for sure. I just know that I like making them. And again, if you have a question, talk to me while I'm working. Or if you have a request, we can work that in too. Doesn't have to be all marbles. I just have to put something in the title once in a while. Yeah, we do. It's out there, but it's not been lit in a while. My son just asked me if we still have a burn barrel. Okay, now I'm going to stretch this out in this thin cane. Yeah, you can go look. Stretch this, stretch this out into some thin cane, and I might just do some swirl patterns or something with it. And it doesn't have to be exact. And there, I'll leave that little dot there. Just random patterns. There we go. Silver fume center and random patterns going on now. And then I'll just layer some clear over all of this and see how it looks. Let's even add a little bit more randomness of some Illuminati dots, just because I can. Doesn't have to be a lot. Thing about Illuminati is you really, really can't see it unless you've got it in sunlight, and then it turns well, you can see it under black light too, but uh, the other indication is under sunlight, it does sort of like I wouldn't say a neon green, but it does show up as a light green color. So if you're not sure, you can always take it out in sunlight to see if you can see it, and that would tell you whether it's Illuminati or not. Now, all I'm going to do is just layer clear over this marble as we're doing it, one at a time. Again, if you have any questions or want to shout out in the chat room, I have it up in front of me and I can watch fairly nicely. I also want to say thank you for being there and becoming, up to 600 subscribers, almost there. 3 more to go. Go knock 2 or 3 of your friends in the head and say, "Hey, watch this guy. He's pretty good." Hi, Beth. Good morning. I know I don't tell you when I'm going to be doing these things. It's random. But hey, I'm working on a marble at the moment for those that are coming in late. And like I always say, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, right? Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm doing a marble is making sure it's going to fit in a certain size range that I have in mind. But I will, to make sure it's melted all the way through, and of course, still might have its moments because I don't get a chance to put it in the oven until a little later anyway. One of the things I could tell you to probably do is warm your oven. If you've got how much not too much electric going on in your shed, that's my problem. Um, the oven, I have a choice of either the oven or the concentrators, and at this point, I'd rather do the concentrators. So maybe what I should do is warm up the oven to a nice degree, and then turn it off and do the concentrators, and then warm it back up again. Okay, here we go. We're gonna kick in a little bit more flame here. That outer ring is not as necessary. I just have it going at the moment. And at the moment, I'm only running on my 10 liter per minute oxygen concentrator. I could kick in the other 5 if I wanted to, but at this point, it's doing the job quite nicely for me. So why add more if you don't need to? Oh, all the clankly. My son, you can't see him. Let him show you. He's got all the pendant pieces on that he had. Let me show you real quick, just to let walk back over there so they can see you. There you go. And around his neck, he's got all the pendant pieces that he that I made for him and have never sent to him because I knew he'd get them eventually. And he's got like a lighthouse. So he's got some of them are Amber's, some of them are his. He's got show them off show them one off at a time, and so that they can see which one is which. I'll tell you what I'll do. Also, I will take a picture of those and videotape it and put it on the melting memory page so that people know what's going on. Okay. So, um, and my son is now going to go back outside, and I'm going to get back to doing this marble. Now, what I wanted to tell you about a marble is the best thing I can tell you to do to really make it work better for you is you let gravity work with you. Now, what I'm doing right now, it's basically round, but what I'm doing is I'm heating it up and letting it elongate a little bit and become more of a drip shape, as you can see. And now I'm going to let gravity work with me again and heat it up a little bit and let it draw back into itself. And what this is doing is making sure the whole marble is a nice, consistent temperature throughout the whole thing. And also, if it's got little bubbles in there, it'll make the bubbles more round and they will not become stress pop crack problems later. Okay, I'm going to do a cold weld again across from it. And now I'm going to do the same thing again to the back side that I just did. I'm almost through with this marble. If anybody has a request that they would like to see me do. Hi Ace, how you doing? I see there are one or two people in the chat room besides myself. Huh? Let's see. Let me roll down and scroll. Oh, 5 people are watching. That's cool. I'm excited about that. Every little bit helps to know that I just, popped in and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and it's before 6 o'clock before 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. You can't complain. I guess I can't complain, right? Now, again, what I'm doing is I'm heating up that marble quite nicely, and then I'm letting it sort of drip downward and elongate itself a little bit. And what that's doing is basically making sure the whole marble is at a molten stage altogether, creating less stress even in the middle of this marble as you're doing it. And I not only do this, what I would call right now, this is top and that's bottom, I would do it side to side one more time too. Making sure it's spinning quite nicely, which it is. Now I'm going to do the elongated version. If you guys have a request besides the marble, we can get into it right after I finish this guy. Tap it off. Yeah, learning cold welds, I know I make it look easy, but you know what? It's happened. I tapped it and it dropped across the floor, burned a piece. Didn't really get to be what I wanted it to do, and sometimes breaks. So even I have my moments, but it's a lot of practice. You're just sort of touching it too, and then tapping it off in that same place that you just touched it. And again, I'm going to elongate it, heat it up, let it sort of get a little longer in that spot, or that 3/4 of the body. And I'm going to melt it back down. As you can see, it's almost bullet shape now. And I'm going to melt it back down and let it sort of draw back into itself. There we go. I'm going to roll that in the marble mold, and you can see like I'm not even really stressing it or anything. I'm just sort of spinning it lightly in there, and it's working quite nicely. Now, next, Next, we're going to do another cold weld here. Touch, tap. Oops. Excuse me a second, people. There we go. What you didn't see happen is my lens fell off of my didymium heat shield, my didymium slash heat shield and filter, so that I can see what I'm doing inside the glass without burning my eyes out. Right. It sort of just tapped out of it. I tapped on the cold weld and it jostled the filter out of its position. Anyway, and again, tilt it down, elongate. And this will make a better marble in the long run. And then let it sort of gravity work with you, tilt it back down in the other direction. And then it goes back to its oval shape. And as you do this, you spin it and look at it in the light source like your shop light. The shop light creates a nice line in the marble. I don't know if here, maybe you can see it and maybe you can't as it cools down. Now, the line you'll see, and if you see ripples in it, then you know that you've got more dents and conclaves and stuff that you've got to heat up and melt all to the, but that looks like the shine is doing pretty nice from what I can see. I'm going to tap that off and just let that happen, Captain. And now I've got that's quite a divot. I don't know, I might do another cold weld off to this side here just to see what I can come up with and fire polish all that crud off of it. Any request? I'm almost finished with this marble. Cats, mice, swans, bears, whales, snails. If not, I plan on doing another marble. This time I'm going to do a very small diachro marble, or even a what I call macro marbles. Like if you have somebody who's into miniatures, these are really, really cool to do. And you can't really screw them up that often either. Okay, let me round that in a little bit. Oh yeah, that divot will be a whole lot better to fire polish out that I'm just creating here. Checking the marble for ripples from the sunlight, from the light. Doesn't look like anything's happening. And I'm going to tap that off. Oh yeah, that divot will work out real well. And what I usually do is where the divot is, I sort of point it in the direction of the flame, so it's easier to fire polish that divot out instead of tilting your graphite paddle or whatever it is into the flame. That keeps it a little bit more pristine for a little longer. Okay, let's leave that there. And I'm going to be going and, like I said, doing a diachroic marble. And it's going to be a small one. Yeah, sorry about the wind, guys. It's going to be really tiny, too. Piece of gold, diachroic. Okay. Here we go. Let's put that right there where I can see it a little easier and have it on the right-hand side. I'm a new lamp worker. Love watching you. Thank you, Beth. Where are you located in the world of all of our glass blowing friends? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Now, what I do is I do a Maria to the size and shape of the dichro. Jersey area. I've heard of the place. They talk a lot different up that way, you know. Hey, New Jersey. All that sort of stuff. Yeah. Forget about it. Yeah. Don't go to New York. Forget about it. Driven through a few times. If I haven't taken the Jersey Turnpike, I haven't driven, right? Okay, shiny side up on the dichro, the diachroic glass, and it's about the right size, and I'm heating up, and then I'm going to press that diachroic glass in. Oh yeah, I figured you might be the way I was talking about it, but yeah, northern New Jersey up that way. You got to be from somewhere, just like me. I was born in Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii. 104 COE and 90 work better with a hothead. Yes, they do. But if you have like a national torch, like one like this, it works the. Let me see if I can get it in the frame here. That one there, that national torch, it works really well with soft and boro. That way, when you do the transition, and I'm not trying to tell you to stop using soft glass, what I call soft glass, the COE of 104 and 90. Um, uh, but I was surprised that when I finally started doing boro, my save rate went from 50 to 60% really quick to 80 to 90, and then 100 practically. Oh, me talking instead of working, the dichro came right off of the Maria that I did. It's now on. I've got it on the soft the color rod here. Press it in like so. Let's see if I can transfer the heat and melt just the piece of glass again, the color glass. There we go. No, only have a hot head at the moment. That's fine. You can do a lot. I first started using a blowtorch like you would buy from um, a department store, and I used that practically 3 to 8 months before I finally got a really well. Now, if I had access to the internet back then, this is back in the 80s, okay? If I had access to the internet back then, I'd have probably been a lot better off and learning a whole lot more. But they had the internet close to almost back then, maybe just one or two uh, billboards, or not billboards, but just chat room type things. But nothing like they do now, and nothing like YouTube. Holy cow. You guys have it so easy. I am so jealous. But a hothead, again, I used a propane blowtorch and soda bottles and matter of fact, any glass that I could get my hands on, I started even Venetian blinds made out of glass, that type of down in Florida area. I used any type of glass to play with that I could, and I um, had pretty good results. And I learned a long time ago that you make sure that you use the same type of glass to the same type of glass. Like if you're using Mountain Dew bottles, you use Mountain Dew bottle to Mountain Dew bottle. You also use beer bottle, the same type of beer bottle to the same type of beer bottle. You don't use them. Now, in some respects, you can get results to where you can put different colors to different colors, but because they're made at different factories with different chemical and I guess you could say proprietary secrecy. What type of torch do you use, Beth? But again, it made a difference. And when I get nostalgic, and I don't know, and I'll put it down in the reference underneath this video, the where I actually took propane blowtorch and made figurines out of it. You have a Nortel, cool, Nortel miner. Hey, it gives you enough range that you can melt some glass. That's the main thing. And if you ever got a hold of a couple of oxygen concentrators, either one of, well, eventually. Now what I just did was I stretched it and folded it over onto itself. I'm sitting here chatting with you guys instead of um, telling you what I'm doing. Now what that has done is give a green core to the marble that I'm going to be doing here, and it'll have the gold shine ribbon on both sides of this green core. Okay, now I'm going to flatten this just slightly. Tweezers come in handy. Handy. Press, 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 press. That'll do it. Pull a little bit of that out of there. That was the top clear part. Um, do you use soft, with that type of torch, you probably are using Boro, right, Beth? I just need a kiln to complete the studio. Have very small bead annealer. That works. Hey, as long as it gets you the stuff to melt it, to cool it down slowly. That's the most important part. Um, you also, if you've got bigger pieces that won't quite fit in there, an old crock pot or a crock pot and vermiculite. I don't know if you've heard of vermiculite. That is a potting soil type stuff. That's a good insulator that helps things cool down slowly. But if you put it in an old crock pot to warm it up and then put your glass pieces in it and then cooled it down slowly, that would work. So what I'm giving you is information that you guys can use to get results with uh, very little material at the time. But yeah, an oven will work its way in the long run. You have vermiculite, good. And a clay pot, in a clay pot. Again, if you put it in the crock pot and warm the crock pot up for it. Now what I've done is stretch that dichro. Let me get, and you can see the sparkly glittery on both sides of the piece. And now I'm going to slightly, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make the marble and then give it the swirl after the fact. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just layer a little bit more clear on top of everything that I've done. Um, and the size that I'm doing this, and you could make marbles out of soft, and the thing I like about soft glass is the color palette. You have so much more colors than the borosilicate does. But again, you've got to treat it gently, Bentley, and put it immediately into a cooling, heating, a warmer. In other words, so it cools down really, 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 really slow. If it cools down too fast, it goes ka-chink. So and with the crock pot deal, you just warm it up maybe a couple hours before you start working, and then um, once you've done everything that you can and you've stuck it into the crock pot, you turn off the pot. Perlite, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with perlite. Um, I don't know its properties as much as I know that I have used vermiculite. That's why I recommend that. Okay. Now what I've done is added just one layer of clear over that marble, not marble, diachroic strip that I've done. And then I folded that strip in half. And as you can see, it's got dichro on both sides. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably pull it off right there. And that's going to be my marble. That little piece right there is going to be a diachroic swirl marble. Can't you tell? Oh, come on. Where's your imagination, guys? Okay. It comes with knowing what you can do later on. I'm going to add another little layer of clear because I can. And another thing about making small that I like is the smaller it is, the less stress you've made something. And if you want to practice with making smaller things first to get the idea down and then do bigger, you'll have a better appreciation for what you can do. And it's pretty scalable, I want to say. It's like making a cake compared to a cupcake. You can have all the same ingredients, but because it's a cupcake, it'll cook faster and you'll be done faster. Um, and you just learn your design and ideas and then make it bigger. And you won't waste as much glass or oxygen either. Okay, now here comes the fun part. I'm going to be doing the swirl pattern going on. Let it melt in quite nicely, all of that clear glass that I've just done. And now I'm going to just start twisting it. And I'm going to come up, not just twist it, I'm going to fold it over and twist it again. Complicated. Hey, Renee. Nice to see you up and about. It's got to be in the 6 o'clock range to you, right? Now, let's, I, again, I pulled it, twisted it, and then I folded it over. And now it's going to be like a double swirl pattern around each other here. Just changing it up just a little bit to give you something to look at. And again, this isn't going to be a very big marble. And the idea is to, now what I'm doing is letting it draw into itself by heating it up and letting it round as much as it can on the 3/4 of the marble besides where the punte is. That marble's ready to go. Look at that. Nice and cool. Anyway, okay. Let's continue. We're going to do this, finish this guy up. My feed isn't loading on my phone, so I'm trying to get my pewter up. Well, you'll get there. And I know how your feed is over there. It's spotty at best at times, which is good, but you'll get there. Now, with a marble mold, sometimes you'll get a marble shape that's a little bit bigger than the one size that you have and a little bit smaller than the next size up. But if you continually round it in the smaller mold, it will still make a round marble for you and you just got to sort of rock it sometimes because it doesn't have to fit in the full mold. It just has to have the rounding capabilities around the curve of the marble mold itself. Enough said. Touch, cold weld, tap it off. Oh, we got a lot of chunk going on here. Yeah, Renee's a little bit more familiar with some of those COEs now than I am, but I do. I actually have melted Mountain Dew bottle on one of my shows, um, and just to show you that you can do and work with just about any type of glass that you have available. Uh, Sometimes high quality is available to you. Go for it. I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes if you can't be with the ones you love, or you can't melt with the ones you want to melt with what you got. And I have. I've done the full gambit, and I've loved every minute of it because it's the pyromaniac in me being creative on these shows. Okay, I'm almost to the point where I'm um, tap that off. Fire polish. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it elongate a little bit on this marble and then let it collapse back into itself. And again, that helps to make sure that the marble in the middle is as molten as the marble on the outside edge. Okay, that's looking good. And I've done it a couple of times, both up and down. Now I'm going to do it side to side again. Your Mountain Dew Bottle Dragon is the video that got me into all this trouble, by golly. Ah, thanks. It's nice to be known for some of the good problems here. Oh, oh, see, my cold well just didn't work there a second, and the lip of my table wants to roll it down off the edge. So here we go. There we go. I saved it. You still got the original Mountain Dew video. I have your remake, but I really love the first one. Yeah, it's still in the video mix. I'll put references to it in the bottom of this show so that people can find it. Sound like a plan? We'll get there. And with that, after this marble is done, I will show you pictures of it later on Melting Memories page and also the video of it. I will try to make the video that I get of these two marbles, I will put as the edited picture of what's on this page or what's for this video itself. So, cool bean sticks. No problem. Now, sometimes if it's small enough, I did that and I still screwed it up. Where'd it go? There it is, burning up a hole here. Oh, darn, I got to do a cold weld again here. Tried to look smart and pretty, but I didn't screw it up entirely, don't get me wrong. There's the where the divot was the last time. I'm going to put it here in this mold. Tap it off. And fire polish that divot. And again, what I usually do is I put the divot towards the flame edge and then tilt it in slightly so that the divot will be able to be melted. And now you got one cool round marble. And the first one, like I say, is bench cooled at the moment. And it has a few dents and dimples, but it's when you put it under a black light, it will have that reactive Illuminati in there. And two marbles done and done today on not Torch Talk, but Lou Libby's glass blowing channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And again, I will have those. Oh, it was just a little out of shot. I'm sorry. Here, there we go. Now you can see them, both of them. I didn't notice until I had it up on the screen. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, carpe vitro, and enjoy your day. And what's that again? It had Illuminati in the marble, the first one. You weren't here, but that's the whole thing about these videos. You can stop it, rewind it, and actually this stick right here is Illuminati. You really can't tell until you fly. Oh, I burnt my finger just slightly. Didn't really hurt it. It was just more reaction to heat than anything else on the marble. It was right here as I set down that piece of Illuminati. Oh well. Days of burnt offerings and days of blood sacrifice. Thank you for being there, guys. like I say, enjoy your day.